Okay, this is probably the worst lighting that I could probably find. I'm not at BU right now. I am at home in California at my parents' house, so I don't have any of my like normal equipment stuff. So this is very makeshift right now. But I really wanted to film this video because I had the most incredible year of my life. One, I really wanted to look back on it and just remember all the crazy cool things that I did. But two is just to really like emphasize like how much like we like accomplished and how much I got to do because of the people who like support me, and I just really want to just show gratitude in that sort of way too. Okay, so I wrote down a list. I originally wanted to do like a top 18 of 2018, but I actually wrote 18 things. There's just so much more than this, and I didn't know how to specific to get. Like, I did a whole like headlining tour, but like that's not just one thing. Like that was huge. That was like the biggest project that like I've ever done, and that's just like not, if that was one thing, like there wouldn't be like 18 other or like 17 other things. But anyway, let's just dive in. These are in no particular order, by the way, just how I remember them. So first, I got to do a really cool, I'm gonna insert like pictures and stuff on the side if I have them, so I'll scoot over here. I got to do a really cool feature with my school. They asked me to do a special Spotify playlist of like what songs that inspired me and sort of helped me make my sound. And I got to do a special interview with them, and it was really, really inspiring and heartwarming to really know that like my school cared about like the things that I was doing in such a big school with so many incredibly talented and ambitious people, that like I got to do something like this was really exciting for me, and it was such a pleasure, and I'm really grateful for that opportunity. I was a freshman at the time, so like especially as a brand new freshman, to be appreciated in that sort of way meant a lot to me. A really big thing, but I started my partnership and collaboration with Abercrombie this year. That was such, I still pinch myself about it because it's the coolest opportunity for me and has inspired me in so many different ways. I've made so many new friends through the program, and have really just learned a lot about social media strategy and how I want to take photos, and just really improved like the photography and everything that I do on Instagram. Incredible that like we live in a time where like my main like job right now is working with a brand that I love, posting photos of like, and working with them and doing like insider strategies and doing activations on my campus. It's really, really cool. I did a whole video about exactly what I do with Abercrombie. That is gonna be, should be linked, I'll link it down below. I filmed it over the summer, so it's a little bit older, but a really, really cool experience and definitely worth a watch. Okay, third thing, my sophomore album hit over 100,000 streams on Spotify alone. That, when I saw that number, and it was just a few short weeks after this album came out, for so long, like people had told me like, you're never gonna see numbers like that, you're never gonna achieve that. And as somebody who did the whole thing independently, who spent hours and hours and hours writing and recording and rehearsing and just trying to make it exactly how they wanted it to be, and then putting it out there, and then managing their own like press tour and doing everything like that, it was the biggest reward. Because I mean, it's not about numbers at all. One of the top moments for me was actually back in January, when somebody sent me a DM on Twitter and was like, this one song that you did, it makes me feel like I'm crying on the bathroom floor, and which is a horribly like dark thing, but like it was such a compliment to me, because it was meant that I was doing something right and I was portraying some sort of emotion through it. And then just connecting with that many people like that number of times was insane. And kind of going off of that, another one I have is, I got the data back from Spotify and I was listened to in over 44 countries, which is ridiculous. Like I've only been to 3 different countries in my whole life. So the fact that I was listening to 44, it just makes you realize like actually how big the internet is and how much of an insane thing it is. Fourth thing, or I guess this is the fifth thing now, I played a sold out show in Seattle and another sold out show in Boston. Every single show of the tour was so important and so special in a different way, and anybody you ask will tell you the exact same thing, because I would tell everyone who asked me like, how was this show that I did, because it was my first headlining tour and every single show meant so much to me, and I got to meet so many cool people at every single show. And but like Boston and Seattle like are like my two like biggest homes right now, and like having like a sold out crowd at both of them was something I did not expect, and was like just like the biggest like metaphorical like pat on the shoulder that you could possibly get, because I spent so many hours and so much time putting this tour together, not even during the summer of touring and actually like, but beforehand, so much time. Like, you would not believe how much went into like promotions and advertising strategies and preparing content and merchandise and everything there, and doing all like the social media marketing. And I mean, I learned so much, and there is not a second that wasn't worth it. But just like seeing that was just like, it just made my heart so warm. And like when I go on stage in Seattle, and like it's just a room full of like people that just did that for me, and they spent the time to do that and sort of give me this accomplishment, is something it was impossible to give back. I really recognize the true like gift of that, and I don't know, being able to say I had 2 sold out shows on my first headlining tour is wicked. Next thing, I gotta start moving through these a little bit faster. I got to go to the Made in America Festival in Philadelphia with Abercrombie, and it was one of the best experiences of my life because it was the first actually music festival that I've ever been to. I got to see a bunch of my favorite artists with a bunch of my closest new friends from Abercrombie. Next one, this is huge. I launched my magazine. If you didn't know, I haven't talked about it a whole lot on here. Maybe I'll do a full video, but it's more so things are coming in 2019 with it that we have planned, but it is officially like launched. Like, we have the site is up and the social media pages are active. The name is probably gonna change, but New Heights Magazine is a passion project that I started this year to promote youth empowerment in people who want to do something to pursue any sort of goal that they have, and sort of give them the opportunity, platform, and resources, and just sort of motivational inspiration to achieve whatever they want to, and sort of serve as a platform that they can look at and see young people doing really cool things, and hopefully give themselves the sort of self-validation that they can do it too. That's New Heights, and you'll definitely be seeing a whole lot more from it. I'll include the link to the website. It's newheightsmagazine.com in the description. You can go check some of that out. And we're doing some pretty cool events with them next year that you'll see me at, so stay tuned for more on that. But a huge accomplishment in my book. I learned so much about starting my own like nonprofit organization, and it so far has sucked so much life out of me in the best way possible. I've learned so much, and I'm so appreciative and grateful for the experience and the people that have helped me throw it together, because without them and like the help of the people in the law clinic at BU, like I wouldn't be anywhere close to where I am today with it. And the people who've contributed to it, like, I've met so many incredibly talented and gifted people who want to contribute their skills to this magazine, and it means a lot. So definitely keep an eye on that. That's happened in 2019. This is a small one, but I actually began working on my 3rd album. I can't tell you anything yet. I don't have any sort of date, or I'm not even close to releasing anything for it, but I've gotten to do some cool collaborations for it, and begin working on some songs. I have at least a full album written right now, but I'm really taking my time with it and really making sure I love every single one so dearly. I love every single one with all my heart, and I put everything that I have into it. And it's really hard to juggle, you know, my jobs, plural, and school and New Heights with this 3rd album, and it's kind of slower because I don't have all the resources in Boston, but it's a slow but inspiring process that you'll hear more about soon. And this is a really big one for me. I took a lot of family trips. I spent about a week with my just immediate close family in June. It was one of the highlights of my year, was just paddleboarding with my sisters on the river. I love moments like that because where we are now, like, my family is like, we're sort of in that older like part of like our lives, and so we're all doing our own things, we're all going around, and we're constantly moving and working on sort of different things that we don't actually all get to be together all too often. So having that week in June was like everything to me. I took a couple trips to New York. Those were a blast with my friends, and I got to see so much of the city. Nothing's official, but I might be moving there for over this summer to do some work there. Knock on wood, we don't know yet, but that's just in the works. I organized my own and went on my own press tours, and I learned a lot about interview skills and how to present myself, and this is more of like an internal, like self-reflective kind of thing, but like listening to interviews that you did back and then thinking about what you could have done better, how you could have said this better, really helps you in future interviews. And so if you listen to interviews that I did back in January versus the press tour that we just did for the holiday EP, like, it would probably seem like a totally different person. I got to spend a weekend in Toronto with some of my close friends when I went to go do a show there. That was insanely exciting. It was sort of the like hurrah end of summer, and I love Toronto. Like, I fell in love with Toronto. It's such a cool city, and I really want to go back. I would even live there for a while. And a lot of you don't know about this, but I actually produce a news show at Boston University. It's called The Wire, and it's relatively separate from like anything other than like what I do, because I don't use like the stage name that I have. I use my actual name, and it's a little bit more for like professional like resume building, but I learned a lot from it, and I got to meet now some of my closest friends, and it was a really cool opportunity for me to sort of improve my broadcast skills too. So that's just a personal thing. I got to collaborate with my friends at Pin On and my new friends at Rhythm and Raps in Boston, and I got to launch with my friend Josie. We got to sort of kick off their concert series, and which was an incredible honor that they even asked us to do that, and it was incredible because I kind of got to relive the joys of tour, remind myself how much I love bringing music to life, and it's getting me excited for what's to come. That was a wink, that didn't work. I got to do a whole Christmas EP with one of my best friends. We recorded it all in one night, and I was really proud of it. And it actually did really, really well. We had, on the day it released, I had the most listeners on Spotify that I've ever had. And then I did a podcast with two of my really close friends. It's called College Got Me Like, and then kind of going off of that, the podcast was made because we did a YouTube series that did really well, called How to College. So you can watch those are still up on my channel, but then we did a podcast series with my magazine that I launched. It was called College Got Me Like, and you can stream the whole series now at newhitsmagazine.com/college. Finally, this is the last thing, is I had my most successful year on YouTube, in my opinion. I mean, I really didn't even like look at numbers, because for me it's not really about numbers, it's more just about how I feel about it and how I reflect upon it. But I achieved over 100,000 views on my channel, which is insane. So anyway, those are like the top like moments I have. I did a poll on Twitter. You guys really wanted me to share my favorite music of 2018 too, and so instead of just reading them off to you, I made a playlist on Spotify. That's going to be in the description, so make sure you check that out. All of my favorite songs from the year, and songs that really inspired me as I did a lot of traveling and sort of inspired me with this new writing process for the third album. I guess with that, thank you so much for making 2018 the most incredible year of my life. I have just really reflected this past week, and it's been the first week in a long time that I've just rested and relaxed, and I've just done a lot of reflecting on how insanely cool my year was, and that's all because of the people that support me and follow me and give me constant love and confidence and inspiration. So seriously, thank you so much for that. I have so much positive energy and high hopes and dreams for 2019 that I would say I'm gonna try to make come true, but I'm so committed to them, I'm going to make come true. I'm gonna do a lot more. I'm hoping to do more YouTube stuff and do more vlogging stuff, because honestly for me, I have loved going back and watching vlogs from the beginning of the year and sort of recapping everything that I did. Working on that, and of course working on the new album, launching my magazine a little bit further, and just like growing up. Thanks guys, Happy New Year, I will see you soon.